it's taken me almost 2 years to actually decide to create this video. Now the reason it's taken 2 years is because it's just so crazy what I have to say, and the experience that I had, I didn't feel like I could properly communicate what I had experienced, and I couldn't feel like anyone could actually grasp what it was that I experienced about 2 years back. Alright, so just bear with me and try to grasp onto what I'm saying. I'm gonna keep it as simple as possible. Alright, so some of you watching this video might know of something referred to as the pineal gland. Now, if you don't know what the pineal gland is, my bad. If you don't know what the pineal gland is, it's actually this gland that's located inside your brain. And scientifically speaking, it releases melatonin and serotonin. And supposedly, it releases DMT. Now, it releases this when you're born, a near-death experience, or right when you're about to die. Now, as for how true that is, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that if you actually look it up, the whole pineal gland and stuff like that, it always talks about how it's calcified, and the way it becomes calcified is through all the pollutants in the air, the pollutants, the chemicals that we use in like deodorant, body wash, toothpaste, the fluoride in our toothpaste, the fluoride in the water that we drink, the fluoride in the water that we take showers with, the hormones that they make the chicken with, all the genetically modified engineering. Like, on a side note, it's actually pretty crazy that most of the fruits and vegetables that we eat are actually genetically modified. But going back to on point, what we're talking about, the pineal gland, right? You can decalcify, and there's many ways to do so, and it actually shows you how to do it if you look it up. Right now, a lot of people, specifically religious people, might say that the pineal gland is demonic, or it's the devil, or it's just some evil shit, or that the third eye, just all this crazy shit. And I just want you to just sit down, relax, and realize that when we are born, the pineal gland is fully active and it is fully decalcified. It's as we grow that it becomes calcified, and there's nothing special that you really do to decalcify that pineal gland. It's not like you draw a star on the ground, make a circle, and then start praying, I don't know, man. No, you don't do that shit. It's literally just eating good food, real food, the things we're meant to eat, using things that don't have all these harmful chemicals, these ingredients and stuff like that, and spending less time in areas that are more polluted. Now, from my experience, I can't say that I was 100% fully decalcified and 100% fully active, because I feel that that would only be possible if you were to live off grid. Now, from my experience, I remember about three years back, I figured out the whole thing about the pineal gland, and I was like, oh wow, like that'd be fucking crazy. Like, there's people who talk about almost experiencing like a trip whenever they want, and I was like, whoa, like I love to be tripping all the time. I mean, come on, let's be real. But aside from that, about 3 years back, I found out about the pineal gland, and I started to actually set out on this journey to decalcify my pineal gland. And I remember the further and further I got into this journey, the more things I began to experience. Now, keep in mind, I wasn't doing anything special, but just eating good foods. I put a water filter for the water that I drank. I put a filter for the shower. Like, I literally even washed my hands with like good stuff that didn't have all those harmful ingredients. Now, as for what those harmful ingredients is, I'm not trying to get too deep into that, so you can actually look on Google somewhere and find that out for yourself. Now, as I went through this journey, like I said, I started experiencing more. And I remember the first thing that I experienced, it was about 5 to 6 months in. I remember I had gone to a Starbucks cafe on Sand Lake in Orlando, and I remember I was with a friend of mine, and as soon as we were walking, Like they have this water fountain in both plazas, and there's a plaza all the way on the other side of the street. So as we're walking, I'm looking over at this water fountain that's all the way across the street. Now, keep in mind, I'm 100% sober right now. So I'm looking over at this water fountain that's all the way across the street, like all the way on the other side. And as I'm looking at the water, like usually you see water and it's like moving, right? Well, I was looking at this water and it was frozen in the air. Like the water was not moving whatsoever. And I remember at that moment, I looked at my friend, I was like, yo, like, do you see this? And my friend was like, what? I was like, look at the waterfall. And he's like, what about it? I was like, what do you see? He's like, the water's moving, it's normal. I was like, oh my God, yo. So that right there was the first time that I actually experienced something on this whole trip of decalcifying the pineal gland. And the last thing that I experienced is what actually led me to stop decalcifying the pineal gland, right? Now, it wasn't a negative experience. It was just something that made me realize that maybe right now, living in this society, living in this world, it might not be the best choice to have the pineal gland fully decalcified, because we aren't used to experiencing what we could experience, right? So that being said, what I had experienced, it was about 8 to 10 months in of doing this whole pineal gland decalcification thing. I remember there's a golf course that's near my house, and I actually walk there at nighttime sometimes because it's relaxing and it's nice to just get away by yourself. I remember walking down this golf course at night and my heart's like pounding because of just how crazy this experience was. I remember I was walking down this golf course at nighttime by myself, 100% sober, right? 100% sober. And I remember as I'm walking, I'm there, I'm experiencing the golf course at nighttime. Like I'm hearing the bugs and everything like that. And it's just, I could feel the moon, and it was a full moon. And I remember in a split second, everything changed. Like I was no longer on the golf course. And I remember I was on this hilltop and I was looking out to this like vast ocean, this ocean that just kept going really far out, right? And I remember looking up into the sky and there were billions and billions and billions of stars. And when I would look around me, there were all these orbs flying around me, and like as I would move, they would change color from like green to yellow to blue to red, and it was the most beautiful thing that I had ever experienced at that moment. And I remember in another split second, boom, like I snapped out of that and I was back on the golf course. Now keep in mind, when I came back to the golf course, I was somewhere completely different on that golf course. And in the time span that I experienced what I experienced, it wasn't long enough for me to have traveled that far into the golf course. So ever since I experienced that, you know, I can't really tell you what it was like, because I'm still kind of trying to come to grips with it, as if, you know, what if this isn't just the only reality that we are experiencing? You know, what if we're actually meant to experience more realities? Or what if this is just, I don't know. You see, this is something that like I'm still trying to figure out myself. But I decided, why the hell would I just keep this from you guys? You know, this is something that I would have liked to hear about when I first started this journey. And like I said, because of all that, I'm not on the journey to decalcifying the pineal gland anymore. I actually stopped that a long time ago. But from that experience, it's always left me thinking like, damn, like, is this really it? Like, is this life? Is this thing that we're experiencing right now? Is this all that there is that we're experiencing? Not saying that I don't enjoy it, because I do. Everything is amazing. But the fact that I experienced what I experienced on that golf course doesn't make sense. With that being said, please do your research on the pineal gland, and I suggest to just be here in the present moment, enjoy life, experience life. But if you feel like you want to go down that road and try that out for yourself, be my guest, you might experience the same thing, you might experience something else, who knows. Anyways, with that, I leave you. Thank you for watching. I do hope this video has helped you in one way, shape, or form. And I do hope I'm not too late, but there's this gentleman that reached out to me, and his brother was actually, he had to get a surgery because he has this life-threatening condition. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will leave a link down in the description below. He has a donation page if people want to donate and help to, I guess, fundraise enough money for this surgery. So if you want to lend a helping hand, then you can go ahead and do so in the link down below. And the page itself, I think, is in German, but you can translate it to English if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, and also, if you're watching these videos, make sure to like the video if you liked it, and keep watching these videos. Let it help you on your journey, and go ahead and go over to my Patreon page. Try out being a patron for a month. Promise you won't be disappointed. I put videos 3 times a week. I do live streams, and there's just a lot of extra content that will help you on your journey. Thank you for watching, and please remember, the time is now.